Hello, hello, hello. It's Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Successfully. Successfully is an elite accountability practice, so that makes me your personal professional butt kicker. Oh my goodness. Hello, everybody. Hello. I am really feeling my look today. I feel like I'm giving you Oprah at home, Oprah's favorite things look right now. So feel very snazzy, very preppy, very switched on to where we're going today. And so, thank you so much for joining us. I am so excited. I am so excited. I am so excited that we're in December, so let's make it a December to remember. You know, this is our last bit of the year, and I think that I want to encourage you that and there's still business to make. There's still money to make. There's still opportunities to grab hold of. There are still ways that you can lean into your business. Just because it's the holiday season, don't abandon your business until next year. There's still a lot of opportunity. There's still a lot of people that are looking for you and looking for what you have to offer. So thoughtfully move forward, but definitely don't take your foot off the gas. Like, prime example, Friday, I'm out living the dream and got an inbound request for an event in LA next week. And so, of course, we're ready, willing, and able to show up there. But, like if I hadn't, not been working or looking at email, that could have been something that was missed. And so, like I said, there are opportunities. Do not sleep on December because a lot of other people take their foot off the gas. There's just opportunity. There's folks that are trying to get rid of their last bit of budget for the year. There are people that are ready to change their lives. They don't want to go into next year doing the same stuff over and over. So definitely be ready, willing, and able to participate there. Before we get into what I want to discuss today, which is just my prompting for you to take time to do a year in review. Take time to do a year in review. Don't wait until you do your goal setting exercise to process your year. And so I want to remind you all that we have no excuses. There is no excuses, no excuses, no excuses. If you are uh if you if you are struggling, I wouldn't even say struggling. If you have not yet hit that place um, in your business where you have done at least 100K in revenue, if you haven't hit that yet, I want you to seriously think about joining us on December 13th. We literally have put together a strategy and planning session called the Six Figure Setup to help you break down what a six-figure year will look like. Right? So we're thinking of it like building a house. So we're thinking about your foundation, your frame, and your finishes. Right? So I'm going to walk you through a three-part process to really make sure that you have a game plan. So, step one, step two, step three. So you're not sitting down at your desk trying to figure out what you're going to do next, right? We're trying to avoid that wasted time of trying to figure out your next move or your best move. We're going to discuss that on the call. So come spend 90 minutes with me and the Successfully team on December 13th. It is a limited engagement, so there are limited seats because we want to make sure everybody has personal attention. So please, please, please make sure that you do that. Lucille will put the link in the comments, so make sure you grab your spot in the event for the event, and that's the Six Figure Setup because I want to make sure that you have your best year yet. So what really inspired me to want to talk about this the year in review was I think if you use Spotify, every last one of us got a report on our listening habits for the year. They had a really kitschy name for it, but it showed the top artists, how long you were listening, it made recommendations. It really laid out your listening and consumption habits for the year, right? And I'm sure it took an amazing team and hundreds, if not thousands of hours to create that experience for users. And it was shareable. You could share with everyone what you were listening to, what you really enjoyed this year. It really kind of showed the ebbs and flow of like, like where you were emotionally and all that stuff. So, if you haven't looked at your Spotify year recap, go and look at that. But if your music platform of choice can give you a breakdown of your consumption, right? And it was sticky and it was meaningful and it had offered insights for you. I want to encourage you to take a few minutes to do the same for your business. To really go through and see who was your best client this year? What were the projects you really enjoyed? What were some of those things that lit you up? And then on the flip side of it, what were some of the things you didn't like? What were some of the things that you would do differently, right? And I think that looking at our data, looking at the how our business made us feel, because most of the time we're not chasing a number, we're chasing a feeling that that number will provide, right? What did that look like for us, right? What does that look like for us? So I want to tell you why there's three reasons why you should do a year in review. So let me just tell you the three reasons why you should do it. Then I'm going to walk you through some questions. And then if you comment review, if you type review, I'll send you over this cute little workbook. We'll DM it to you. It's the year in review workbook. So if you want a copy of this, just so you have a framework to follow, comment review, and I'll make sure to get this over to you. Okay. So the first reason why you want to do a year in review is you want to see insights. So just like when you got your Spotify report, it showed you what was your number one artist, right? What was the number one thing you listened to? How many hours you spent doing it? I really want you to understand where were your who spent the most money with you? What sort of relationship do you have with them? You know, what marketing pieces really worked for you? What did social media convert for you this year? Were there events that you just got a bunch of leads from? Did you get a bunch of referrals? Like what really worked? Who were those big spenders? What were some of those things that you enjoyed? You know, what could you do without? You know, what are the missing pieces? So when you look at yes, I want to know what you made in revenue, but did you fight hard for that? Or was it at ease and flow in making that money? Or were you finding yourself stressed and working all the time and tired? That's not how we want to work either. So we really want to take what's the insights here? What is the data telling us? Are there dials that we need to turn to move things forward? I think a big insight for me is that marketing, right? We haven't quite got our marketing engine together yet because it's not a matter of our programming works, if our programming works or not. It's a matter of bringing it to a larger audience, more leads, expanding the practice, right? So and so that's just a big insight for me is that we really need to get that piece together. So number one, the year in review gives you insights. All right. Number two, your year in review will point out patterns for you. It'll point out patterns for you. So if you look at your revenue Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4, you can start identifying maybe there's cycles in the industry, right? There are cycles in the industry, or maybe there was something unpredictable that has forced you to shape shift a little bit. So I know something that impacted a lot of my clients on my one-on-one roster who are my more mature entrepreneurs who are trying to close that gap between six-figure and seven-figure business was the idea with that economic downturn. Most of them service corporate clients. And so the discretionary spends that corporate clients had, their budgets were cut, right? So they weren't hiring outside consultants or trainers or that sort of thing. And so they had to shift their businesses to focus more on content and their digital assets and their IP. Right. And so, but with that, that's completely scalable and they can carry that tactic into the next couple years and grow a whole nother revenue stream from that when corporate spending returns, which it always does because it is cyclical. they will have multiple revenue streams, and they're always prepared. They can recession proof themselves a little bit. So what are some of the patterns? Also, I think it's important to see patterns in your personal life. So is your business more profitable when the kids are in school? Does your business slow down over the summer when the kids are home, right? um, are you finding that there are some new trends in the market? Are you seeing so like have you seen that, maybe TikTok has been a revenue driver for you? Maybe you're getting more people into your funnel or into your ecosystem by showing up on another platform, right? So what are some of the patterns? Are there cycles you're seeing in the industry? Are there trends that you're participating in, or trends that you need to participate in? And then are you just seeing, like, with the ebbs and flow of life, are there patterns? Are you going to do you have to front load your year knowing that during the summer you have to slow the business down to accommodate your family needs? Or are you a caretaker for an elderly parent, and so do you need to just kind of start taking calls later in the day so you can get your parents settled in the morning, right? And so those are just patterns. We have to see those patterns. We have to see those patterns because that'll inform how you shape your next year. How you shape your next year. So the third reason why I want you to do a year in review is to check in on your emotional and mental health, right? I think it's important to, if you were really stressed, if you were stressed, burnt out, dissatisfied, feeling underappreciated and undervalued in your own business, something has to shift, and that's within your scope of control, right? That's within your scope of control. That doesn't require new clients or anything. It may require you to have better boundaries with your clients. It may require you to kind of change your pricing structure a little bit. It may require you to not say yes to everything. You don't have to, just because you can doesn't mean you should, right? Did you feel a sense of accomplishment? Are you proud of what you were able to do in your business, or are you disappointed, and why? Right? What sort of feelings do you have about your business? Are you excited to get up and work on it every day, or are you in the trenches? Are you in the trenches? Are you just trudging along? Are you fighting for every inch? That can change too, right? Are you feeling overwhelmed by your business, or are you feeling are you feeling that sense of that you could never achieve your goals, right? I think that it's important to reflect on, how did your business make you feel? Because if you felt stressed and you have all these negative feelings about it, it's something you could shift. That's within your scope of control. It's not like your job where you don't necessarily control who you work with, what time you get there, and your manager. Your business is your business. So if something's not working for you, you can throw it out. You can scrap it. You don't have to shut the whole business down. You can pivot at any given time. You don't need first of the year to decide to do something different in your business. All right. And as someone who, we're going on year 6 in Success Bully, and I would tell you what it looked like 6 years ago versus what it looks like now is different. My interests have changed as a coach. I've grown up, I've matured as a coach. And I tell you that we're evolving, and my areas of interest are shifting yet again, right? So it's not a it's kind of like surfing. You got to kind of ride the wave a little bit. But if you're unhappy, you can fix that. And most of the time, we're unhappy because we don't have enough clients, or we're not working, we're not being compensated um, for the value that we provide. We're not charging enough, and so that makes it really easy to be really frustrated. So the questions that I would say, so there's 3 reasons, again, 3 reasons to do your year in review. Insights, because there's data doesn't lie. Data doesn't lie. If you have a slow quarter, it's probably from, months of not being consistent. You can see patterns. So patterns in terms of cycles in the industry, trends in the industry, even cycles in your personal life that you may have to shift some things around. And then, of course, checking in on that emotional and mental health. How did you feel? How were what was your mental health like? What was your mental fitness like? How did you bounce back from setbacks? How did you move forward after a victory? Those things are really important to look in on, because most importantly, again, we're not chasing revenue numbers per se. We're usually chasing the feeling, what we'll do with that revenue and how it shifts our lives, right? And so when you do this year in review, again, I put together a nice little workbook for you. Comment, review in the chat in the comments, and we'll get it over to you. And so I'm having all my clients work through this. So the first thing that I would say is to do a self-evaluation. Self-evaluation. And so look at yourself personally. This is step aside from your business. Separate yourself from a business uh first, separate yourself from the business and just take an honest inventory. And I would say, what's that biggest learning in 2022? Right? And I think one of my biggest learnings was that, like, I have an incredible network. I have an incredible support system, and I need to lean on them a little more. Because, like, I try to be superwoman, and don't tell people when I need help, or tell them when I need support, or even, tell them when I need prayer, or just when I need a kind word. I don't, or when I need a strategy, or I need a second a set of eyes on something. I tend to hold that to myself, and I've been getting encouragement from my friends to share more about, what I need emotionally from them. Your top three highlights personally. What were your top three highlights of 2022? Like, I think that as overachievers and hyperachievers, we're on to the next victory. We're on to the next victory. We're on to the next thing, and we don't celebrate the process. We don't celebrate the arrival. And like Michelle Obama said, her book was called Becoming, that we're becoming the people we're supposed to be. We don't celebrate that process enough. So reflect. What were your personally? What were your three biggest accomplishments in 2022? Then I would suggest looking at the challenge. What challenges came up in 2022 that you want to avoid? Where did you have some toxic people in your life? Is it time to farewell? Is it time to end a toxic relationship? Is it time to get some? Are you having money problems and money trauma? Is it time to get some support on that, or is it time to honestly commit to your health journey, right? So what are some of those challenges that you want to avoid? And then, like, if you had a genie in a bottle, and you could wish for anything, what do you want more of in 2023? I firmly believe that, you know, without being too woo woo and going down the route of manifesting, I do think we create the life that we want, right? And that's the first starts with our mindset and our belief, right? But, like, what do you want more of? What do you want more of in 2023? Do you want more time with your friends and family? Do you want to travel more? Do you want to experience new things? Do you want to get more stamps in your passport? Do you want to learn a new skill set? Um, do you want a new relationship? Do you want to be in love in 2023? Because this is personal. What do you want personally, right? What does that look like? Because you can design it. You can design it. Now I want you to step back and look at that business evaluation. So, like, I asked earlier in the group about if you gave me a thumbs up or a thumbs down, what would how would you describe your revenue in 2022? Was it thumbs up, thumbs down? And I want you to really, what did you make in Q1? What did you make in Q2? What did you make in Q3? What did you make in Q4 so far? And really step back and ask yourself why and how, right? So, how did you make that money? Why was that important to you? What was kind of showing up? What Are you seeing a downward trend or spikes in your revenue? And generally, if your revenue isn't trending up, if it goes up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, that shows a lack of consistency. And that's easily fixed. More consistency in your money making activities, or those actions that you take to move your business forward, the more consistency you'll see in your revenue. And so, what was your biggest business win of 2022? Right? What was that thing that, did you finish that RFP? Did you submit that proposal? Did you win that client? Did you fill up your roster? Did you get your first client? I think your first client is huge. Did you finally decide to turn your open sign on? Right? Did you go viral this year? Did you get paid the most you've ever been paid to do that thing that you do? Right? Did you boldly ask for what you're worth and you got it? Did you do it? What was that big win? And sometimes the big win is I let a client go. Maybe that's the big win. Maybe you turned down an opportunity. And so, what's the biggest learning? Because I don't want to call it a setback, challenge, a failure. I think I don't want to say that I fail in my business consistently, but there are things that I could do better. There are things that I could do better, but there are also some hard lessons that you don't have to learn until you get there, right? There are lessons about your business that until you get to that place where you hire staff, that you learn about people, about managing people, that managing in a corporate career, you're executing on someone else's vision and goals. Managing a team in your own space where you're building the dream and they have to see the dream alongside you, right, is totally different than the type of work that you would do in a corporate space. But you don't know that till you get there, right? You don't experience that until you get there. You can only speculate on how you will respond to that. Or what will you do if you have clients that are delinquent on their payments? You don't have to have a protocol or learn from that until you experience it, right? So what are the biggest learnings? And then I want you to really think about, what would business success look like in 2023? What do you want your business to look and feel like? What I want mine to be joyous. I want my business to be filled with joy. I want it to be filled with revenue, obviously, lots of revenue, but I also want my freedom and flexibility. So I want to work with people I love working with, the way that I love working with them, with my own flexibility, right? So that's what I want more of. So I want to encourage you to reach out. So go ahead and drop the review in the comment, and we'll get this year in review worksheet over to you. Again, I want to remind you that there are 3 reasons why you should do this. A year in review is a great starting point for you to do your goal setting for 2023, for you to do your planning for the rest of the year, for the new year. We want those insights, we want to see those patterns, and we want to just kind of check in. How did our business feel emotionally and mentally to us? What it was, it stressful? Were we experiencing, ease and flow? And what do you want to shift around that space as well? And so I don't want to leave you without extending an invitation. I want to extend an invitation to book a strategy session. If after you get through your year in review, you're not sure what your next move is, go ahead and book a call, and you can find us at successbully.com/call. Once again, we do have an event on December 13th at 4:30 p.m. Pacific time. So my East Coast folks, you will have your dinner in hand. And I would just suggest grab your spot because, like I said, we have limited spots there. It's called the Six Figure Setup, and it is a strategy and planning session to help you break down how you're going to make 100K in your coaching business in 2023. If you have not grabbed your ticket, I would strongly suggest, we're getting real close to like those last few seats. So I want to remind you to grab your spot forthwith. So once again, I am Keita Williams, founder and chief strategist of Success Bully. Let's get after it.